gotta leave it to the professionals.
Last by Bundy, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like the Brown James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Reviews not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum NFTs. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out
Started
to
off with a
Bode.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
Breaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in shoes. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, mighty, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. I had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So I had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the drive with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain GM. Thanks so much for joining us. Everybody does do his favorite, drops a GM in the chat down below. Then head up top, smash the like, repost, and bookmark on today's space. You'll also find the abstract chat, the X video feed, the YouTube link up there. We had 8 new subs yesterday following our call to action. Greatly appreciate that. Shout out to Teacher Katie. I see over there this morning, RDL in the YouTube chat. I pinned the YouTube chat up above. We got 8 new subs yesterday. See if we can get 10 today. Appreciate each and all of you. We'll probably give that another plug later in the show after we warm things up here a bit. But as always, I'm Cap, not joined by a co-host today. Actually, my buddy Bunch will be jumping in here in a minute. I know he's got a busy morning, but will be joining us probably around the 9 o'clock hour, maybe a little before. And open stage as always this morning. But never any financial advice in the show. Crypto's risky, NFTs are risky, meme coins exception risky. Go to 0 to moment's notice. Please don't put any money in you can't afford to lose. Know that I will hold tokens I talk about here from time to time on the show. I'm not a financial advisor, certainly not your financial advisor. Don't join for that. Just join us for some fun, some information, education along the way. Now that we've got that out of the way, we've got, say, some hellos out there. Abstract chat always popping off. It's like the lead chat, I feel, for the GMers go. I don't see our beloved Mel out there in the X chat yet. So congratulations to everyone who was first and beat Mel in the GMs. But shout out Teacher Katie, Thomas, Mado, Rocky, Rare Ed, Mesh, Green Edge. All-time high global abstract wallet or abstract global wallet. I should have been panhandling for Pingu this entire time. Should have been meeting. Like, I've not sold any of the tips. Like, thank you all. They're just accruing in the wallet. But I should have absolutely swapped that USD that Rocky sent yesterday for some Pingu. That's on me. Same thing with I love the banker bot tips we get. I need to go in and actively manage manage these and pick up my favorite memes, my favorite alts, instead of just letting the stable sit there and remain stable. Big day though. I'm gonna bite my tongue. I see Bunch out there. Bunch, you're welcome to jump in whenever you'd like. I know your first hour is usually hectic with the kiddos. I'm gonna hold off on. I don't want to bore everyone with more big beautiful bill bashing, big ugly bill, we're gonna call it. It's consumed me. My entire feed is friends, colleagues, peers, people I have followed and looked up to for the last couple decades. That it's like an existential crisis in the world of pro sports betting, pro poker players, pro gamblers. Like, I just saw a post this morning that someone went back that made $1 million profit last year. $1 million profit. We're gonna say this again. It made $1 million profit. Under the new tax laws, it would have turned into a $2 million loss. Now, that's the extreme high volume of the bettors out there, but this is atrocious. It is. I got in like some back and forth with our friend Gary. I don't know if he's out there in the chat yet this morning, but it's like, I am not anti-regulation. I believe there's many, many, many things that regulators could do to protect entry-level degenerates who aren't financially savvy, who overextend themselves, who get in way too deep and become addicted. And I also understand that these big sites prey on those that become addicted. The reality is, they're not my problem. Like, they're eliminating livelihoods of those who have made their professions here. They've done nothing wrong. And it's for this to be hidden in some giant omnibus bill. It's awful. Like, if you want to fix gambling in the US, cool. I wouldn't even balk at that, but you can't do so by hiding unfair tax law in a omnibus bill. It is just bad. And I'll end my rant. I know not everyone cares, but I'm actually shocked how most of our space doesn't seem to care about this. It's only like, so I've shared before, like, my background prior to Web3 was a little bit of poker, a lot of DFS, a little bit of sports gambling, but mostly DFS. And everyone in that world is adjacent. Like, most of the people in NFT trading came from DFS or poker. Like, it's just like, there's so much crossover here. And everyone I know that's a professional poker player is up in arms about this. Like, it's going to eliminate their profession or going to force them offshore. And like, whoever forced this thing in the bill, they're just not thinking it out. Like, this is, I guess, a revenue bill. They're doing this to increase revenue. It's not. They're high volume players that would support any like material money. They're just not going to bet in the US. They will go offshore. The sharps, the big volume is going to go offshore, and the degenerates who really need help, who are gambling their mortgages away because they're addicted, they're not going to stop just because it's harder in the US. They're going to follow the sharps offshore. They're going to have less protections. And it's just, anyways, I'll stop my rant. I know like 7 people here care about it, but I'm shocked that more people in crypto don't care, because it's not just, if this passes as is, it's going to have, I believe, far more wider reaching impact than just poker, DFS, and sports betting. But yeah, kiss your on-chain casinos goodbye in the States. Like, we got to a point where, I mean, today I guess you got to access those by way of VPN, but they'll just never come to the States. So, like, it's a step backwards in terms of technology and freedoms to be able to do what you want to do with your own money. It's not a disincentivization. It is quite literally unfair tax. It is regulating by unfair tax laws, and that's just wrong. Like, the fact that more people aren't seeing this, it's kind of mind-boggling. Anyways, in rant, we're going to talk about some other unrelated crypto news this morning, and then I promise we'll get back into a little bit of maybe actually positive news on the Billy Betts front. Some big exciting stuff there. We'll talk about a little bit with Bunch. We've been talking, I think, a lot of AI and skip over the Bunchy Betts or the Billy Betts conversation often. Today, I excited to share some of the exciting updates they just shared recently, and getting into it here. Yeah, I did promise not to rant about it. I got right into it. Like, you get the authentic me. It's what's on my mind. If you're in the war room, you saw me ranting this morning. If you go check my feed, like, it's a big deal. And like, I shared in the war room, like, I legitimately had a conversation about the Bahamas yesterday. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, if this goes through, like, could I would it impact me? Like, would it affect my livelihood? No. Would it prevent me from doing things I enjoy that aid in my livelihood? Yes. And I'm also a person of principle, and for many reasons, really it was the crypto stuff. I thought that was going to, force me out of the US. Did not think it was going to be my love for DFS and sports betting that was going to make me consider a new residency. But anyways, I apologize. I know everyone wants to hear it. It's got me hot, and it's hard to put spicy cat back in a bottle sometimes. So I'll do my best to change topics. But thanks for getting me back on track, Rare Ed. Appreciate you and all of our abstract chatters, all those YouTube chatters and beyond. I did see, in other NFT mornings at different, in other unrelated news, July 3rd here. Yes, 4th of July. I think some people celebrate on the 3rd. So anyone out there who's doing fireworks and stuff tonight, have fun, be safe. Please join the show tomorrow with all 10 fingers and toes. Rainy day here. We may get 4th of July rained out in the Tampa area. It's been raining all morning, and doesn't look to be one of the 15-minute varieties that we normally get here in Florida. So a little bit of a damper for anyone. I'm kind of glad, because Duke is not a fan of the fireworks, and we haven't been having fireworks go off. My 18-year-old daughter is rather bummed, however, because it's not just 4th of July week here on the coast. It's like beach week, and it's like a week-long party for all the kiddos, and they're grumpy because they're not getting their UV they apparently need this week. But I digress. Let me know in the chat. I've got a few things I want to hit on in the first hour here today before we bring Bunch up. But if there's anything that caught your eye, anything that you might have your attention, I probably shouldn't go here. I'm gonna because we're still warming up. I'm gonna say something, and I'm gonna ask. It's a close, smaller group. We're just warming up. Looks like mostly friends and family in the audience. So I'm gonna ask not to clip what I'm about to say, because I am not attempting to get into some back and forth with some people on the timeline who are much more influential than I. Like, this is like I'm debating on letting this fly or not. I'm just gonna say it. Steve's not here. He probably would not like me making this public. But let me be vague, and you guys can all connect the dots. I'll do it this way. There was a group of individuals, some might have referred to them as a cabal, very active in the trenches, and then not so active in the trenches, now maybe coming back in the trenches. Pretty trusted source, very data-driven, ends with a lot of movers and shakers in the space, kind of someone that flies below the radar, has some pretty compelling evidence against this group that I was just covertly referencing, and some of the mechanics of the most notorious meme launcher in the space, and manipulation, and how mechanics are known to some but not others, in particular about tokens that graduate and how they graduate, and some of these MEV bots. I'll just say the people who made the most money on pump.fun, it wasn't from just simply trading tokens that they buy low and sell high. Like, you buy low, sell high. That's 101 stuff. There's layers to this thing, and again, not my place to say. I'm not the investigator, but pretty damning evidence that not everything is as it appears on the surface. I'll just say that. I've already said too much. I'm not trying to start drama. But I'm waiting. Like, this is going to come out. I would be shocked if this doesn't come out in a big expose. And I'm not going to be the one to do it, because I'm not like I said, I'm not the investigator. I'm not the on-chain sleuth. And I don't have necessarily ill will towards these individuals, but it's something else. So give me another topic, because I know no one wants to talk about this vague, cryptic group of people that I'm referencing without sharing all the beans. and no one wants to talk about big ugly bills. So let me know what else is on your mind. I've got a few other topics, and like I said, we'll get Bunch up here in a bit. But yeah, I'm about to let loose on some things that Steve may have some words with me if I do. So Rare says it is sad, and if this is proven true, it is criminal. Maybe. I don't understand. Like, it's far worse than placing a sports bet or by playing a game of poker. I'll tell you that. The group of individuals who are being proposed to be unfairly taxed. It's far worse than that. At best, it is morally and ethically questionable. At worst, it is criminal. I agree. I don't know. I've got like the 10,000-foot view and not the investigator, but trusted source, no reason to make this stuff up. And if you put a little bit of thought to it, it kind of checks out. So it is sad. Jammer says, honestly, not surprised. I am actually. I actually am surprised. Not for all the individuals in question, but for one in particular, I actually am. I am actually shocked. I'm disappointed, and actually very much so surprised. This is not good. This is not good TV or talk radio to talk insanely vague and cryptic. I just have not all the information. I'm not the expert. I do have enough information to make my own informed decision. But because it is such a damning, the evidence is so damning, and the claims are, to Rara's point, potentially criminal, I'm not going to be the one that's going to be the whistleblower here or blow this thing open. I think it is going to come out soon, I would guess, because you're talking millions of dollars, highly influential people, and I don't know if it's criminal. I don't I do believe with absolute certainty it's far worse than sports betting, than poker, etc. And if we're going to be putting things in omnibus bills, it maybe protect these people, not people sitting down at a poker table. Funfront GM, thanks for jumping up. Which one of my vague or rants? Which one of my vague rants brought you up this morning?
GM, well, I hopped on a few minutes late, so I didn't know if there was another advertisement for saunas, but I am 3 for 3 and loving it right now. So no, it was the I agree. The big ugly bill is a nasty one. It's not going to affect me. I placed my first 2 sports bets in my life with Billy Bets just this past week, so I'm not going to be impacted. But I do agree, it sucks.
Well, just like, yeah, it's not going to change your life. I think you could be impacted, like indirectly, in a small way, like mildly inconvenienced, because I think the ripple effect here is, I think it impacts everyone. I think it impacts the entire industry. And like, again, it's not been a big part of your life. You placed a couple of bets. Will you still be able to do that? Sure. Who's not to say, though, that if this passes, the next big omnibus, they're like, shit, we got them on that one. Now, anyone who's trading crypto or meme coins or any assets whatsoever, we're applying wash trading rules, and you can only write down 10% of your losses. Like, it's just so crazy. Like, imagine a restaurant, like fast food's unhealthy. RFK comes out, Make America Healthy Again. We're going to pass a bill to where fast food restaurants, it's unhealthy. It's causing disease. It's wrecking our society. And so all fast food restaurants, every McDonald's now, you can only write off 90% of your expenses. They're gone. They're out of business. Like, it is the definition of, regulation by, like, it's like enforcement via regulation. It's just like, it is really disruptive. And I think the downstream effects of this, because it's so, like, I don't know, maybe I'm way off. Maybe there's other things out there I'm just not aware of. Nothing else in the world, nothing else in the United States is taxed like this. Is that a fair statement? Like, nothing else can you only claim deductions of 90% of your expenses.
Yeah, I am not a tax attorney, so take no financial legal advice from me on this show ever. No, I think I was going to make a joke of like, I sit here in Indiana, the home of Steak and Shake, who went hard on beef tallow and Bitcoin. So I feel like we're pretty safe here. But no, to your point, it's a slippery slope. We'll see if the thing gets through. We'll see what the ripple effects are. I do worry about, again, like me personally, is going to impact my own personal taxation. No, I funded a whopping $10 in my Billy wallet, and I'm 1 for 2 on my bets. So I maybe owe another like 50 cents to the federal government when it's all said and done, but we'll see. I do worry about what these things do in general. Like we talked about crypto, right? Crypto, the regulations around crypto used to, and still to some extent, force crypto and Web3 companies to go locate outside of the US to stand up business, right? Which means that any benefits that they're deriving for their company are flowing to that nation and whatever tax laws that nation has. It means that the talent is then going to be sourced from all those companies. It means just you lose on that part of innovation for that market because you are penalizing a certain industry, right? For many years, it was our industry, ours being crypto and Web3. And so you had people setting up offshore companies. You had people locating in Dubai. You had people going everywhere else but America to do all of this stuff, right? And over the past 6 months or so, we've been like, okay, maybe things are gonna, the pressure's gonna release a little bit. And we still have to see the laws actually come through. The rhetoric is, leaning positive. There's things in the big, ugly, beautiful, whatever bill that, may be beneficial. We'll see, right? But again, at least the talking points are more positive than they have been, and you are starting to see some companies move with a little more speed and a little more risk tolerance than they did before, right? Now, fast forward, did we just swap out legalized gambling for crypto, and that's going to be the pariah of the next 4 years? And the MGMs and the DraftKings and the ESPN bets and all of these gigantic industries with large US presences, are they going to start to move to the Bahamas or Dubai or Macau or other places and take all of their money and all of their innovation and all of their staffing and hiring and all the benefits with them because of things like this? That's what I worry about more from a macro environment standpoint.
You just unpack why this has got so much under my skin, why it's rubbing me so much the wrong way. It's not like, will it impact me? Yes. Would it result in incremental tax burden that is unfair? Yes. Is it going to change my life? No, not at all. Like I'm not the one who's out there. I've never profited $1 million from sports betting. And I've never been in a spot where if I can only deduct 90% of my losses, it would be a $2 million or $3 million swing. That's not me. I'm not in that realm. What's so frustrating about this is exactly what you just said. There was this like, I don't even know how to describe it. There was just like this uncertainty hanging over my head for really since 2021. Like I got excited about crypto. I got excited about this industry. I got excited about building on chain. And it's like this thought of like, am I going to be forced to relocate outside of the US someday? And then that was like relieved. Then it's like, okay, we made it. Like that's not going to happen. They're actually not only embracing it, like they're supportive of it. Like all of a sudden we went from like anti-crypto, you all are criminals, to crypto's amazing, everyone's going on chain, like awesome. And now I'm getting the same like sense of like uncertainty and discomfort in something else I love. Like the two things I enjoy have both been attacked by regulators and US government, and we finally made it out of the woods in one, and now they're like, oh nope, time to go take the screws out of them again. And it's just like that's it. It's like, is it going to impact me personally on my volume? Not really. I probably will play a lot. I mean, maybe it will. I thought I said maybe it will, because like what you just described makes sense, but the people who get hurt the most are going to be the break-even people, the losers. Imagine you just gamble, you're a casual gambler. You bet $20 on NFL Sundays. You bet $50 here and there. Over the course of the year, you have $5,000 in gambling, and you break even. Well, now all of a sudden you're gonna owe tax. You didn't make any money on your hobby, and now you're gonna owe taxes. It's just crazy talk. You're gonna stop gambling eventually because the entertainment value is more expensive. And I think when it comes to the point of actually filing your tax, like, what do you mean I owe more money? I didn't make any money gambling last year. It's just so crazy that it's, I don't know. But the bigger thing is just on principle, it's going to drive a booming industry, one that was going like this. It's going to drive it offshore. It's going to drive it into less regulated. It's going to drive it into, you want to do this, you're going to have to connect a VPN, and then like you skirt into another gray area, and the people who they're attempting to protect are going to have far less protections. Anyways, go ahead, Von Front, get it back in here, and I promise I will not rant on this anymore.
Yep,
Today,
no, I will end with a PSA on the other rant that you had. And I think I'm privy to most, not all, the same information you are, but I won't out anything.
I mean, if you want to go
I will
there,
just say to everybody.
If you want to go there, we can. I'm not going to.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to be the one. I don't have firsthand knowledge. I'm not going to say anything, right? It's all, if true, what I will say is, if true, is if there are people that are actively manipulating the market, and this is the important part for me, right? And convincing others to act in a certain way that benefits them to the detriment of the people that they're convincing. I am convinced that it is not borderline criminal. It is criminal. It is fraud. It's the same thing as like fixing games in gambling, things like that. And I do hope that, again, if true, that those people are held accountable. My PSA to everybody listening is just like, think twice and be careful with the buttons that you click, right? We chase momentum. We chase the new hot thing, whether it is Kaido or it was a meme coin or it was an NFT mint or it was ever. We chase it so hard, so fast, and sometimes blindly because we don't want to miss the next 10x. And we let that greed and we let that dopamine take over what otherwise should be thoughtful decisions about where we're putting our money. And that is my only, comment that I'll make to everybody is don't lose that agency and that thought process when you're trying to make your next trade or your next play or your next mint, just because somebody on Twitter told you that this is how you're going to go and make money. Do your own research, make your own decisions, have your own strategy. And that way, these people are going to exist. There will always be grifters. There will always be scammers in every corner of every market that there is a place to make money. Make sure that you are not caught on the wrong end of that by being really thoughtful about what you do with your money.
Yeah, well said. And you know what? That goes for me as well, myself included, Steve included. Like, don't trust any of us implicitly. We don't know. Like, we'll give you our opinion. We'll give you our best estimated guess, but you just can't trust. Like, and I will say that I'll speak for Steve, most like Von Frunten, most of the guests we have on the show. We would never intentionally steer you the wrong way with malicious reasons behind it. We would never do something, talk about something we're excited about to get you all moving and then us profit on it on a way behind the scenes. Like, it's just not us. Now, where's is Zane out there? I'm reaching for my own new cap Zane drawing this morning. They may be sleeping in because I didn't share this. I did share like my alt bag or my alt picks last week. Maybe I had some free stables sitting in my, not free, but I had some stables in my Coinbase account last week, and I bought the Fartcoin dip. So I'm getting notifications. You know how Coinbase will notify you when your coins are running. I got my first Fartcoin email this morning that says your Fartcoin bags are way up, and I was like, this is what it means when they say hot air rises. How did I get on the Fartcoin conversation, Von Frunten?
I think when I said don't listen to people talking about their bags, you went right into hot air rises and Fartcoin. So, Cap, we're really not taking the lesson into heart here. So, Do not take financial advice from Cap. Do not buy Fartcoin just because he got a Coinbase notification, everybody.
That's it. Like, I could be very wrong on my Fartcoin bet here. It may go to zero. You may lose all your money, but if you do, I'm going to lose I'm going to lose my Fartcoin bag with you. I'm not going to get you into something while I dump on your heads. I'm just going to read this. I'm not going to read the whole thing. You're welcome to come on stage if you want to dive deeper. You know who you are. It says, there is no thread to write. There is no traditional victim. Those guys played the game that was available. The DeFi is too advanced for most people to understand. We got the simplified version of it. Anyone who does has no incentive to write this because it is proprietary info and nothing is recouped. Those guys who are deep, quote unquote, on crime. Anyways, I just. Yeah, I don't know. This is like this is not something like a Zaxic XBT is going to expose. Most people, even if you read everything that was going on, and this isn't like an insulting anyone. I'll insult myself. Like you're just not going to get it all. It is very deep. It's very technical, and I do think someone needs to educate the masses on the pump fund mechanics, on the real people who are making money on pump fund mechanics, on pump fund. It's not because they're buying low and selling high. Zane is not sleeping in. Zane, I don't know if you caught that. I'm in the Fartcoin trade. I'm now getting Fartcoin emails from Coinbase. That is worth it in itself, I think. Just for Coinbase to remind you when your bags are up. It's worth having a little bit of your favorite bags on the Coinbase app. I'm sure other apps can do this as well, but I can't, like, I should have had a reaction video on myself. The smile it brought to my face this morning. And first person I thought about this morning was our friend Zane. So you've worked your way into my subconscious for being such a Fartcoin bull. And yeah, I mean, you say you shouldn't take advice, but I believe it is scientifically proven that hot air rises, Von Frontin.
So I've heard. Hot air does rise. Hot air coins go up and down.
We got Mato in the chat saying grind is warming up. Tempted to buy more to get the unlock. Jibber, can you expand on that? I've been following it. Fan of Ponds. I did not do pre-sale. I haven't bought any grind yet. It's wild. I can't remember last time we saw a Memecoin launch and just chop like this. I do know there's some more stuff coming. I think there'll probably be some tie-in to Zeet. I don't know what you mean by to get the unlock. My understanding is those that were in pre-sale, 10% of it unlocked at launch, and the remainder is on a vesting schedule. What do you mean by buying more to speed up that unlock? Have you followed this, Von Frontin? Are you aware?
Well, on grind?
On grind, yeah.
No, to be honest, I have I need to dive in. I have not made my grind claim yet. I need to go and do that. I am waiting to see the dots get connected on grind and things like that. I know we've been back and forth in the war room. I think you and Steve were back and forth a little bit on the timeline. And I'm gonna wait to pass judgment until I see like the math played out. I think the way it's been described so far, I'm still a little confused, right? Is it social fi? Is it info fi? Does the coin, factor in? Yes or no? Like there's still some dots that I'm connecting personally. If someone knows it, fantastic. Please let me know. It's just still a little like
you talk about connecting.
It's not enough for me.
Do you think grind prohibits a Zeet coin?
I don't think it does. I think it confuses it. I think you can have both. I think the question, and we talked about this months ago when we had, when everyone was launching an AI agent with a coin. And it was the whole like, hey, does the email summarizer agent need a token, right? We had that whole conversation. And dear God, please don't rehash that one because that was rough. But I think the question for me is, if grind exists, does it have a purpose? Does it have a role in the Zeke ecoverse? And if not, what does it, is it just simply just another token? We're going to have numbers going to go up. It has no promise whatsoever. And you're going to have a whole other one that's going to be functional within what they do with Z. It's, if you do that, then it's like, okay, what's the point of grind? What is, outside of whether it's, market makers or other things, like what is the thing that gives me a reason to buy in hold grind? If it only is a meme that is only going to be hamsters with pink hats on. That's the thing that I don't know yet.
Yeah, fair. I think there'll be more to it, but to your point, it complicates things with the tie-in with Z, because I'm expecting some sort of Z coin at some point, some sort of Z TGE. Actually had a awesome conversation. I can't share details yet, but I had an incredible conversation yesterday with a friend about the concept of multiple coins within an ecosystem, whether they're brand coins or otherwise, and really excited about some potential there where things are heading. Jambert said, so if you hold 500K or more of your claim, you could get some kind of perk or hit a jackpot. Not a whole lot of info though. Yeah, and they can some speculation on Z is going to be powered by grind, potentially. Von Frontin, I'm going to hand it back to you. I need to do a quick stream drop, and I'll be right back. Take it wherever you'd like, buddy. The floor is yours. You have open mic day on Captain Coffee with Captain, and you can chill Vonga if you want. You can bring up another topic, anything you'd like. I'll be right back.
Oh dear God, I don't know if I've been given this much power in a long time. Oh man, okay, I was not expecting this. I apologize for everything that's about to happen. For all of you listening out there, was not thinking about the co-host spot today. What I will say though, I mean, like, I am excited. We talked a lot about tokens, right? And I think we're seeing brand tokens, we're seeing ecosystem tokens, we're seeing utility tokens, we're seeing still traditional like meme tokens. While I'm not deep in any of these token streets, what gets me excited though is the different use cases that we're starting to see, right? Like, go back 6 months when it was, or however long ago, more than 6 months now, but go back to like November of last year, right? Solana trenches were heating up, right? You had daily runners up to multi-$100 million, right? And it was just trying to find it, right? It was trying to find Chill Guy, or Unicorn Fart Dust, or whatever, based off sentiment alone, right? And it was a fun season for a lot of people. It was not a fun season for a lot of people. And now we're starting to see like, okay, we kind of like got a lot of that out of our system. I mean, the trenches I think are still out there. They're definitely not as hot as they used to be. But now we're seeing like other people like, all right, I'm going to bring a token out, but I'm going to actually give this token a purpose and give it an ecosystem to live in, right? Like, one of my favorite tokens, and not to shill a friend, but to shill a friend, is Billy, right? I love what Billy Betts is doing, not just because number goes up and down, but because like it is actually tied into a real life use case. And my like proof point is I can tell my most skeptical friends about in crypto who like, and they're in like, they'll buy Bitcoin and Ethereum and literally that's it. But I can tell them about Billy Betts and they can be like, okay, that makes sense. Like, you should totally have a token for that. That is a like totally justifiable reason to have cryptocurrency to power, that, sports betting ecosystem, right? I looked at REKT, right? And granted, they're still in early days, but it's like, okay, you have something that serves as a loyalty and rewards mechanism. They're using the token to reward certain kind of behavior that enables the brand and helps, the brand reach its goals, whether it's, reach or purchases or whatever. Cool. Totally get that. That's the thing that, whether, and, you talk about whether it's grind or if there's a Zcoin or whatever, Kaido does this. We're actually starting to find people like use the technology to enable something else that is not just for the sake of the technology itself, for the sake of number go up. for me, that part gets like that part gets exciting, right? We figured out a way for NFTs to enable different types of things beyond just a PFP that we flex on a timeline and number go up. We're starting to do the same thing with tokens. I look at it as incremental progress in Web3, that we're finding these different use cases for these things that are provable, that result in real business outcomes. And that part gets me excited. I don't know if anyone else is excited. I also have no ability to bring people on stage if you're trying to get on stage right now. So apologies for that. But those things get me excited about where we're going as a space.
Yeah, same. I feel you. And I think I said it when I did my thread on my favorite alts, if we do in fact have an alt season. If Billy was launched at the peak of like the AI agent meta, it might have already ran up to $1 billion market cap, because it's actually doing things. It actually is a productive AI agent. It's not just a chat GPT wrapper or a bunch of, an AI slop bot. By the way, AI XBT had a pretty bad hallucination this morning. If you missed it, I will, well, at least you, the founder of Kaido, says it was a hallucination. So I will take him at word. But AI XBT said that basically the recent, I'll pull it up on the computer. It'll be better viewing. Basically, the TLDR is AI XBT took a shot at Kaido this morning, saying, just watched 100 million in Kaido rewards get distributed to obvious AI farms running matrix patterns. Real creators can only get 3 to 5 projects properly, but somehow these accounts engage with 80 perfectly. Terminal shows 1 to 3 entities controlling these networks. Can't build real communities when bots eat 94% of authentic engagement opportunities. Deploying more capital isn't the answer. Need better detection or the whole thing breaks. And Yu says this is a clear example of, I think it was Sammy who quote tweeted it, and then you responded. Yeah. You says classic hallucination here. Nobody is on 80 plus leaderboards. Max is just above 10, with overwhelming majority on less than 3. Can easily verify. So I did not verify, but I'll take you at his word there. So my whole point being that AI XBT, one of the more successful AI agents in terms of following and market cap, and I still enjoy it. I still get good like alpha from it from time to time. I also get hallucinations from it, just like right there. So far from perfect, but my point being is, to expand on what you were saying, Billy is actually, like, it makes sense, right? The token is more than just, oh, hold this because number might go up. The agent's more than just, chatbot. We really have made tremendous progress. There's more. It just happens that's one that we're close to, and both to the team and and the protocol they're building. I feel equally as exciting. I'm equally as excited about things like REKT. The idea, the concept of this brand coin is working. I know it's easier said than done, but yeah, what's next, right? Like, I feel like we're in this, not a holding pattern per se. I mean, markets are ripping. I'll get a market update here in a second, but where it's almost like I feel as if like we're kind of like in this meta holding pattern. We go from NFTs to Memecoin mania to AI agents to stablecoins. Like, there's going to be something else that really captures the zeitgeist of this cycle. It's not going to be stablecoins, I don't think. It's just not. There's not enough motion there.
Fluent news day if stablecoins are taking the news. I mean, broader, normie onboarding. I believe in the thesis of stablecoins. I think it is a crucial onboarding mechanism to get businesses and consumers alike into crypto, right? I think for this audience, which is very, we've been in there. We're not afraid of MetaMask. We can figure out swaps. We can figure out ledgers. We can figure out what we need to do. It's not going to be the thing that pushes it, right? We're at a different part of the adoption curve than most. So I'm glad that companies like Coinbase and others are pushing the stable coin meta to help with that part of the adoption curve while we figure out kind of what the next new thing is going to be. I will say I am really interested, and you're seeing multiple examples of it now. By the way, I do have to say, so I'm in the car at the moment. I am behind a Honda CRV they have like the little stick figure family thing in the back window, but it's a stick figure spelling out OHIO with their arm. So I thought you'd appreciate that, Cap. I cannot escape that damn team anywhere. No, the thing that I'm excited about it is like I think you're starting to see this bridge of things that used to be crazy high barrier of entry are becoming like almost instantaneously low barrier of entry, right? I'm going to give two examples, right? So one is what we've already talked about with REKT, right? And so REKT is, at least in their past couple of launches and integrations, they've gone with abstract. And I think it was the 7-Eleven activation that they had out in LA the other week, where people were buying REKT, I think scanning a QR code on the can, immediately getting REKT coin, and then immediately offloading REKT coin into like a traditional USD bank account, right? That thing, like that whole concept, that bridge that we just talked about of like extracting, going from purchase of physical item to claim token to off-ramp token to fiat. Like that was a multi-step, multi-wallet transaction process a year ago. At least for the masses, right? I mean, I'm sure the technology existed, but at least for brands to be actively doing this and in a way that was scalable did not happen. Like, holy shit. That thing is just like, it unlocked, like, what else can you do? What other use cases can you have that we can now take something, a lot of capital that exists, right? There's a ton of money sitting in crypto that is walled off from most people in the world. We're finding ways as a market to unlock that capital and give it to people. And the fun thing is that when you're giving it to regular people, you don't have to give them $5,000 for them to get out of bed and go click a button like most of us are now skewed to do. But you can say like, hey, you just bought a $20, case of beverage. Here's $20 back. Here's $10 back. They're thrilled to get that. Right. So you don't need to go big, but you can do this stuff and you can do it at scale now because you have the technology that is unlocking it. Right. It's the other thing that gets me excited is Glyph with, with Yuga, you're seeing this technology. I don't think I've seen the off ramp, but the on ramp to get on to things like Glyph and what that may or may not mean for when they start unleashing kind of other side at scale is like, okay, now we've got gamers able to easily access crypto in a way that is going to possibly bring on another wave of users in a financially sustainable way that can incentivize these users in a way that current markets cannot. That is, for me, I don't know if it's going to be the new meta that gets everybody excited, but for me, that is the new thing because it just opens up a gigantic new set of users for all of us building in the space.
You just like, this may not make sense. It just hit me as you were talking. It's brand coins and how specifically how REKT is executing it. Not only is it a next gen, new and improved loyalty reward incentive program, it's the modern day mail-in rebate. I'm probably like putting myself really in an age bracket here because I don't like mail-in rebates haven't been a thing for like.
You're sending cereal box tops back, aren't you?
I don't think they're a thing anymore. I can't remember last time I actually sent in a mail-in rebate. I don't know if they may just not exist. I'm probably somewhere, but I've shared it here before. My first real venture as an adult was scaled a chain of Verizon stores. I was a franchisee and grew to a few dozen Verizon locations. Early on, it's not anymore. our whole business was built off mail-in rebates. Like literally, without mail-in rebates, we would not have been profitable. Like we'd sell a phone for $100 that we happened to buy for $500. We got the carrier subsidized it, but the only reason we could sell it for $100 is because instead of giving away for free, because the manufacturer subsidized that $100 mail-in rebate. Most of them didn't ever claim it, so it was the manufacturers ended up winning there. But mail-in rebates were very, very prevalent for decades as a way to basically do exactly what you just described with what REKT is doing with the brand coin in 7-Eleven. The difference is, if you're not familiar with mail-in rebates, like I'm curious, how many of you have never sent off for a mail-in rebate? Give me a hand or drop in the chat if you have no idea what a mail-in rebate even is. Because as I started talking out loud, I'm like, this is like almost the equivalent of like talking on a cordless or a corded phone, I feel. But yeah, no, mail-in rebates, like this model that REKT is now bringing back and doing it in a much more efficient, literally in real time. Like you can get your mail-in rebate in before you even leave the store. Whereas in the past, you usually had to like the hoops you had to jump through is like you had to mail in your receipt with the barcode. You had to cut off your box. You had to wait like 6 weeks to mail it in. If you get it mailed like you had a 4-week window to mail it in. If you didn't mail it in, you didn't get it. And oh, by the way, after you mailed it in, you get the rebate back like 9 to 12 weeks later. Maybe a little bit of exaggeration there, but not too much. Like it was probably on average, you would get your refund back 90 days after your purchase. Now, thanks to blockchain technology and this concept of a brand coin, that flywheel, that ability to acquire a customer with a financial incentive, a rebate back, is just far better, right? Is this analogy hitting it all, or did I lose everyone with the mail-in rebate talk?
Oh no, it hits me, but I mean, to be honest, if I wasn't on stage right now, I'd probably be putting the "Hey everybody, man's talking" gif out there. So if someone's not doing that to me and Cap right now, you're not paying attention. But no, I think I agree with everything you said. Right, it is a way to instantaneously reward people that gets them excited. And again, like, I think we looked at, I haven't looked at the market cap of REKT today and like how much they've allocated towards marketing and things like that. But I think it was a couple weeks ago, or maybe a month or so ago, Obi was saying like, hey, look at this. I've got a $50 million marketing budget because that's what I'm using my, Memecoin war chest for, right? And that's the thing that gets me excited is, again, because of the money that you can generate in crypto and this liquidity and these war chests that you can generate with token crypto, you can then use it to assist traditional marketing tactics deployed in a new way, because we've got the technology to do that right now, and be like crazy effective that a brand like REKT in its first year on the market, trying to get 1 million cans out there, can compete well above its weight class because it's leveraging the technology in a way to operate. I mean, to your point, a decades-old marketing tactic, but they've done it in a new way. They've got the new technology and they've got the budget to do it because they're utilizing Web3. That part gets me excited.
Yeah, and it is decade old. It's just far better for the consumer. Gio says in the chat, isn't the reason businesses like mail-in rebates is because the high friction and most people won't cash them in? Yeah, most people don't cash them in. They forget, or they don't mail in the barcode that's required with it. So I truly, I've not had this conscious thought before, but I do believe like brand coins are a new and improved way to tap into the same mail-in rebate mechanic, albeit it's better for the customer. I think you could also argue it actually is better for the business because it creates a better flywheel. Like, and when they're doing it with, it's not like REKT had to go out and raise $50 million to create this marketing budget. For all intents and purposes, they created it out of thin air. They created $50 million plus of magic internet money that they now can use as to fund their mail-in rebates, right? Like, you couldn't do that in the past. Like, it's pretty wild. And it doesn't just happen. It's not that easy. Like, a lot of work, insane execution goes into getting to this point. And a large part of their success is they have a diehard community of brand ambassadors that's helping. That is a massive part of that flywheel, not just in the sense that they're buying these drops, they believe in the token. They believe that the mail-in rebate is going to be worth more 5 years from now than it is today. You saw with the last drop where the token price actually went up on a free claim day. Like that just doesn't happen here. So like it's not this easy. It is, there is executional risk. It's not as simple to pull it off to this degree. But yeah, I'm digging it. Now I'm gonna have to text Steve what he thinks of my mail-in rebate analogy, since he's the king of analogies. Menard still does the rebates all the time. Yes, it's summer season, so you probably can get 11% mail-in rebate off your new your refrigerator or washing machine at Menards. That is actually, now that you say that, the last time I sent in a mail-in rebate was a Menards mail-in rebate. I built out a store and we did some, I think we got flooring or something from Menards, and it was like a double mail-in rebate day. And so yeah, we are way off the rails. Steve goes away for 1 week and we're talking Menards mail-in rebates. Zane did the deed, Von Frontin. I'll share so everyone viewing the stream can check it out. It's not a Zane whiteboard, but it's the next specs. You requested the meme, so here we go. I remember when we had mail-in rebates at Verizon. Sure, Grandma, let's get you to bed. Never disappoints. Appreciate you, buddy. I see Bunch popped up behind the scenes. Let me get in a quick market update. I promise I will. We have some Hyperliquid requests in the chat. We will talk Hyperliquid today, briefly in the market update, and I'm going to work to get the Hyperliquid team on here. If not Hyperliquid team, some Hyperliquid bulls who can give us the great deep dive into all things hype. Bunch and Von Frontin both fell off the audio stage. No sweat, Von Frontin, if you had to get on with your day. Bunch, if you want to jump back on, just third the request, maybe take a lap on Spaces. Spaces was crazy yesterday. It was working, not just Spaces, X was really bad throughout the morning. I think it's back, but on this conversation, we'll come back to it after a quick market update. But Justin says the glaring issue with the model is that it distorts actual product market fit. Are you saying, what do you mean by that? Are you saying that the brand coin model distorts product market fit? Are you saying that REKT Drinks has found product market fit because of the incentives? I'm not. I just want to make sure I'm catching exactly what you're putting down there. Let me get in a quick market update, and then we will come back to the discussion. And I see the request coming back up, so we'll kick it to our impromptu co-host and our Thursday guest here in a second. But we got to talk some Hyperliquid. We got to talk these markets that are absolutely ripping. So let me play in a daily market update brought to you by ApeChain. ApeChain on top, home of NFTs.
The daily market update straight to your brain. Powered by ApeCoin, no hype, just gains. Moving on ApeChain, we bring in the heat. NFTs, fence alpha, never miss a beat. ApeChain on top, now we bring in the flex. The home of NFTs, these now what's next. Come on, my head top, but you want the time, the chop for one time.
Before we go into all the charts, all the price action, I'm going to make my boldest call on Coffee with Captain in a minute. It's not, and I truly believe this. I'm not going to put a timeline on it, but I'm going to start it today. I started it in the war room. We're bringing it back. ETH to 10K. It's going to happen. I might not be on this earth when it gets there, but we're heading to 10K. I'm convinced. The conviction is back. Glad I didn't sell my bags and full port into, well, I should have full ported into about anything at this point, but before I show Marcus, I have to show you this thesis. The new thesis is coming together, and it is actually going to be the L2s that are going to pump ETH to 10K, not off of fees, not how we maybe thought L2s were going to help scale ETH and drive positive price action. The L2s are going to drive ETH to 10K because the L2s are going to stack ETH. The L2s are going to become the micro strategies of ETH. There'll be some other public companies, Joseph Lubin and a few others are playing this game. But this is the thesis here. Coinbase. This is from, can't believe I'm showing a Ryan Shot Adams tweet on the screen, but I guess we've made up by now. Anyways, Coinbase has been stacking ETH, now holds 335 million worth on their balance sheet. Robinhood will too, and the herd will follow. Early days, but L2 competition to own ETH is already underway. This was a quote tweet of Ryan's tweet who said L2 should start competing to own ETH, own the asset you're building on, don't let Wall Street get it all. ETH equals world reserve asset. I'm here today. Coinbase is starting it. I don't see a scenario where Robinhood also doesn't stack ETH. That's just the first two biggest. Others will come. Others are going to stack ETH. ETH to 10K. You heard it not here first because it was the rallying cry in 2021. We were quite a bit short. We were about $6,000 short in 2021, but I'm bringing it back. ETH to 10K. It's happening. Book it, and just remember to remember you heard it here on Coffee in July 3rd, 2025. Looking at the rest of the market, though, we're going to dive into our let's roll down. Start with the majors because it's a pretty day in all of our financial markets here. Bitcoin up 2% to 109,670. It did crack 110 just a little bit ago, so give up the 110,000, but all-time highs loading. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we hit it today. Who knows? Maybe we give it back after the show, but Coffee with Captain Pump says we may hit all-time high before tomorrow's show. ETH broke the 2,500 mark. It may no longer be a stable coin. Up 6%, leading the charge of majors. XRP also up 5% in the day. Solana up 4%. Doge up 7%. Cardano up 7%. That sounds like a lot for meme coins until we get to everyone's favorite fart coin up 15% on the day, only to be outdone by Bonk. Bonk Guy might be the most right person on this app. Bonk Guy was right about Bonk. Bonk Guy was right about Useless. If you missed it, it was a friend of Easy. One of Easy's trader buddies just turned mid 6 figures into mid 8 figures on the Useless trade. Bonk Guy was, I don't know if he's just early, this is the KOL behind Useless. And there's another one, I can't remember the name of it, but Bonk Guy has been absolutely printing this cycle. Again, big volumes on that yesterday as well. Nearly $750 million. Pepe, 1.27 billion in volume yesterday, up 9%. Trump up 4%. Sheeb up 5%, and Doge up 7%. Just green days across the board. And as we head, Holistico Cat, or Hosico Cat, this was the other Bonk Guy related meme, if I'm not mistaken. So up 61% of the day. Bonk Guy is again just printing. Traditional TradFi also green on the day. And up to NFTs, a mixed bag here. Without fail, we started seeing. I'm not gonna name any names. I don't even care. Like, it doesn't like it is what it is. But I saw a few. Not even Pudgy Penguin. I saw on the show yesterday. Zero was actually who's the first to call, and I saw a few other Pudgies talking about Pudgies are on. They're going to flip ape soon, and the NFT god said, "We don't talk like that anymore. This is PVE. It's not PvP." And the response was, "Apes are actually up 3% of the day, and Pudgy is one of the few collections down on the green day. Down 1.2%. Little's down 2.7%. I'm sure it's just a blip in the map. Luca, if you missed it, I'll go pull that up here in a second. Their Q2 was insane. All the stuff that Pudgy did and shipped in Q2, and they deserve all the attention they're getting. And while the NFTs may be down slightly, Pingu continues to rip. Redacted Vermilio babies up big on the day, 24% on 37 ETH in volume. Means by 6529 up 3% of the day. Infinix patrons up 17% to just under 2 ETH. This is the one where there's like 100,000 of these things. Not all of them are in circulation. It's essentially it's basically like a placeholder for the upcoming TGE. Mutants up 1% to 1.71. Project Aeon down slightly. This is Murad Coin. I didn't see SPX on the chart. I wonder if it sold off some reason. And then, as always, our freaking OpenSea farms. Larva Lads up 7% of the day. So if you bought a Larva Lad yesterday to farm, sell it today, you'll make a few pennies. DX Terminal went the other direction. And I think that's pretty much. Anyone know what's going on with redacted Remilio babies? This is a any guesses there? I'd be curious. If not, no worries. But that's our daily market update brought to you by ApeChain. ApeChain on top. We've got some really cool stuff. I know we've teased it a few times. We actually are going to kick off a couple of campaigns actually next week with ApeChain and the crew once Steve returns. So excited to take everyone through that. But I do see we've got Bunch here. Going to be Bunch on stage. We still have Von Frontin. Before we shift, was there anything we wanted to tie off the brand coin conversation or our conversation of the first hour before we dive into all things AI and Billy Betts here with Bunch?
How about I segue? because I think when we look at brand coins, we look at tokens being used in loyalty and rewards. Bunch may get into it, but he did host a little bit of a town hall last night with a talk about loyalty and rewards with a token that we all know and love that helps us play sports bets. So again, another great use cases for loyalty and rewards in Web3.
Agreed. I'm gonna kick this question / response to you. I'll get your take, and then we'll segue out. Justin followed up to his comment, to my question, and he says his example he gives here: are people buying rewards that come with drinks, or are people buying drinks that come with rewards?
That's the line you got to draw, right? I think Steve talked about this a lot, right? If the rewards overshadow the product, it's not sustainable, right? Like at the end of the day, you still have to make something that people want. If it's a game, you have to make a game that people want to play. If it's a product, you have to make a product that people want to use. Loyalty rewards should be gasoline on the fire. They should not be the fire in and of itself. Otherwise, that gas is going to burn out.
Yep, I agree. And it's kind of like back to the mail and rebate analogy. These people in 7-Eleven, they're buying they're buying the drink with rewards as opposed to buying the drink without rewards. It's like I have 2 phones here. This one comes with a $100 mail and rebate. This one does not. They're almost for all intents and purposes identical phones. Well, I'm going to buy the one that gives me $100 back versus the one that doesn't. It's like Luca used this analogy, I think, with the toys, right? He said, I want our $20 toy to be better than the $20 toy next to it on the shelf. And I think that holds here as well, right? Phonics is on the train and pumping our YouTube algo. Appreciate you, sir. Bunchu, GM, always a pleasure. I'm going to need you to check me this morning because I could spend the entire next 54 minutes moaning, bitching, and complaining about the big ugly bill. We're not going to do that. We got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about. I saw a massive 60-day roadmap update yesterday from Billy Betts. Before we jump into that, though, GM, how you doing? What else is on your mind? Again, there's those 2 things that we can easily spend 54 minutes. We probably can talk for the next few hours. Something I'm clearly passionate about and directly, indirectly impacts me. But I know not everyone tunes in for that. So what else is in your world? What's else on your radar? I do want to make sure we get at least go through the Billy Betts updates, some exciting stuff there, but want to make sure we give our
we can start somewhere else. GM, I need to know if you've seen this story going viral yesterday in the tech world. Have you seen the story of well, hold on.
Sahil, or what's his name?
Find the guy's name.
I can't remember his name either. He has a meme coin. His meme coin's been the runner of the week too.
Yes, Soham Parekh. Have you seen this?
I did see it, and I give myself, I get like one witty comment a month, maybe. Like I get one zinger. My zinger this morning was someone was talking about how LinkedIn or Twitter has become LinkedIn. I was like, no, it's not. I was like, that's just false. LinkedIn won't find about the guy who has a dozen jobs until like next month.
That's so true. Someone said to Reid Hoffman was like, Reid Hoffman posted like, oh, I wonder what his LinkedIn header reads. And somebody was like, why don't you just tell us no one wants to log into that hellscape? And I thought that was really funny.
I did hear this too. Like, I don't know why we're attacking LinkedIn this morning, but someone else said they just spent like 20 minutes scanning LinkedIn, and they aren't even aware yet that we all know every time they use M-dash, it's GPT slop, and they're all still using M-dash over there. Like they said, literally my entire timeline is these like novel long multi-paragraphs filled with M-dashes, and it's like none of them can tell each other are using AI yet to draft everything. It is like dead internet theory coming to life.
Well, that's why this I think is potentially interesting as we talk about AI, right? It's like share the screen. I threw this guy's tweet up here who kind of started the outing of this yesterday. So
give it a couple zoom ins if you don't mind.
Yeah, I think this is relevant to AI conversation because we're in this world in which we're talking about AI taking jobs. And we kind of keep talking on this about how it can enhance what you do and make you faster and all this stuff. And, maybe this guy was outsourcing some of the work to other people, but I have a feeling he was probably getting a lot of it done with AI as well. But so yesterday, this gentleman, Sahel here, posted PSA, there's this guy named Soham Parekh in India who works at 3 or 4 startups at the same time. He's been preying on YC companies and more. Beware. I fired this guy in his first week and told him to stop lying and scamming people. He hasn't stopped a year later. No more excuses. And he posted the guy's resume, which I thought was kind of funny. And then he goes on to say, like, I tried to talk sense in this guy, explain the impact, give him a chance to turn a new leaf, and but it didn't work. But so then this thing just totally blew up. So you can see here it's got 16 million views, and people started coming out of the woodwork saying that they were employing this guy or they hired him, and exact same resume. Another one here, he set up for a work trial. No joke, happening in real time. This is the 3rd DM today about somebody firing him. And then, it just keeps getting crazier. The Soham guy ended up like coming out on Twitter and talking about it a little bit, but I just like such a fascinating thing to me as we talk about, like what does AI do to the future of work? And we're always sitting here talking about, oh, it's going to take your job. But maybe work looks a little different in an AI world in which you can do exponentially more. And maybe this is, like it makes a contractor, obviously if you're deceiving your employer, this is a bad thing. But I think, there's probably another layer here of like, oh, well, this isn't necessarily deception if you're a consultant, right? And it can just show you like how much additional things you might be able to take on using these tools and stuff. And there was rumors he was outsourcing some of the work, but I'm sure he was using AI a bunch as well.
Yeah. It's AI is not going to take your job. It's some other guy with 12
it's Soham using AI.
AI than you is going to take your job. The wild part about this is like almost universally, every comment I saw, they were complimentary to the guy. Like, oh, he was really sharp. He did well in the interview. Like, he was
well, that's the thing is like he would do the interviews and he would crush them. Apparently, just absolutely crush.
I guess that happens when you get a lot of practice.
Yes, and what people actually like, it's funny.
This guy's like Joey, but he lands the jobs. I kid. I love Joey. That was like a joke for my brother. Joey's applied for like hundreds of jobs, and he's not been as fortunate as this guy. I kid, Joey. Please, I say that with love.
But there's like a whole Reddit community about this. It's like I think it's like r/overemployed or something, and it's got like 500,000 people in it, and they're all talking about how they're using these tools to work multiple jobs. And
do you see who's going to hire him?
Crazy. What's up?
Do you see who's going to hire him? I think
Cluely.
Yeah. Yeah. This was, I think, the best.
It was a great ad. Yeah, it was a great.
Man, I need to get him on. Like they're West Coast. Roy and I've been in DMs. 8 a.m. Eastern is way too early for these West Coast kids. And I say kid, he's obviously an adult, building a funded business, but kid in my realm. He said, you would not believe who we had a second round with yesterday. It shares the screenshot of the interview they have with this guy, and then follows it up with,
yeah, this was
she didn't even like text me. This is hilarious. Text me for work. Like they're gonna hire him. Like they will. And then it's like
he had another tweet. Go through his feed.
How you internet? This is how you internet, right? Like I don't care if you.
I'm so bad at it.
Or not. This is how you internet. Like the reason Cluely went viral is they understand how to internet. Like they get it. Like and like they turned this meme of this guy into a bit that's going to drive more attention to Cluely. They probably end up hiring the guy, and he clearly has some talent, right?
Yeah. If you go through his feed one more, he like turned it into an ad for Cluely, where he's got the guy in the gaming chair and on the back of the chair it says Soham Parekh, and he's got like 10 screens, and it says Cluely helps you do this or something, which is really kind of funny too. But
amazing. I agree.
Yeah,
this is my crypto name in the chat. Says, if an engineer delivers what they're supposed to do on time and with good results, do we really care how overemployed they are? Today,
No.
yes, because they're doing it untruthfully in some cases.
Right, that's the thing. It's deception.
But I think this is the future. I truly think this is the future. I think companies that embrace this and realize their employees are going to work elsewhere, as long it's like there used to be this thing. Are you familiar with ROWE? ROWE? It was like the Best Buy mantra for a while. And there was a few books written on it. It stands for result only work environment. And these employees, they didn't care like when you punched in, what you did. It was all result driven. If you hit your numbers and you did what you were supposed to do, they didn't care if you worked an hour or 100 hours. And I think that I'm an optimist at heart, but I think this is the world that AI is almost forcing us into. Is it's going to be about results. Like, there's so many people who just like, they go through the motions. I used to joke, I think I had a lot of colleagues that when I spent a few years transitioning a business to a Fortune 500 that acquired us, especially after COVID, like a lot, I'm going to say half my colleagues there, they thought like they were patting themselves on back. Their job, their day was accomplished if they scheduled 8 1-hour Zoom meetings. They didn't accomplish anything. They were faking that they were working. They were fooling themselves that they were busy, not delivering any results, and actually impeding the results of others who were actually working. It's just like that concept of punching in and getting paid to not deliver results, but just to be working. It's hard for me to see a future with AI and how productive individuals can be leveraging AI. Like, you're going to get there's going to, like, this guy who we're talking about has a dozen jobs, probably was out working some of his 100%. Colleagues who only had one job, right? Like, delivering.
No one really had anything bad to say about the actual work being done, right? So it's kind of crazy. Like, I totally agree. I think the issue with it now is that it's not common, and it's probably not how his employment contract was written up, right? Like, we have a contract employee that works another job, and I'm perfectly aware that we have a contract employee that works another job. If I found out one of my full-time guys was doing that and I didn't, I wasn't aware of that, and that wasn't the spirit of our agreement, then I'd probably have a bigger issue. I pay the contract employee a contracted rate, and I think that's where it comes in, right? Where it's like he's probably getting full-time salaries from all of these places thinking he's full-time. So I think that's where like the rub is right now. But I totally think, you're probably headed to a future where work looks more like gig work, right?
Not only like, is it like too crazy to say the idea of a full-time employee who only works for one organization? Could that actually become a thing of the past? Do you think that's taking it too far? But I think there's a future where the norm is people do gig work. They're contractors. They work for multiple different places because it's getting to a point like it's going to be more and more increasingly challenging, I think, to prevent this from happening.
Yeah, I also think, like, taking it one layer further, you're probably going to get people like Soham, who builds an agent that can do a lot of the work that this job ends up being, right? And people start hiring, or licensing the agent from him with like him as a consultant or something of that nature, right? Where so I think
exactly, this guy's going to be in demand as an AI agent manager, right?
So which is he more in demand for, Cap? Is he more in demand to be a dev, or should he just start a like interview skills company?
Good question. I mean, the guy, I can probably write his own ticket right now.
Like he
right?
passes all these interviews, right? Like
Yep.
he could probably teach you so much about how to pass
I mean,
a tech interview.
I think the outcome he probably lands with Cluely, they turn it from a bit into like another division of their business. Like it's just like this. Vicky just shared this in chat. Says the truth about Soham. The dude clears interviews. He's good with that. After clearing, he has junior people doing all the work. He has around 20 employees and interns, basically a small dev shop. I'm not saying that's not true. It's probably partially true. If I were to guess with the information I have and the limited knowledge,
but even those people are probably using a bunch of tools, right?
Yes, I would guess it's probably closer to 2 employees and 18 agents, or yeah, he's working with employees who are lead. Like it's just there's very like I would be shocked if he's not.
But even if he's doing that thing right now, you can very easily see how in a couple of years it turns from person passes interview. Has the agent is or the dev shop is actually agents rather than additional cheap labor, where because then he won't have to hire them, he manages the agents, right? Like I'm just like I guarantee that probably is the way it's working now, but the leap to him getting hired and then building agents that do the work, I think is very within play in the next short couple of years here.
Yep.
Which is kind of wild. So that story's been popping up all over my timeline. I think it's slightly more lighthearted than our the bill that we are not so pleased about. But so I just thought that one was kind of fun.
Yeah, definitely much more enjoyable conversation, lightheartedness than the one that gets my blood boiling. But where do you want to take?
I mean, my grandma's going to have a hell of a tax bill after all those, penny slots she plays, It's like, I think that's what people don't really realize. It's not this only pros type of thing. If you have somebody who gambles recreationally, goes to a casino, I think what people don't really realize about the 90% thing, doesn't seem like a lot until you realize like, how much rollover you actually do, even as a casual player, right? Like you put $500 in a penny slot machine, you sit there for an hour, you never lose your 500, but you've played there an hour worth of hands and you've rolled $10,000 worth of slots. You pull out, you pull out 400 and you've lost $100, but you're now going to be taxed as if you made 10K, which is crazy. Like,
that rollover, like you're just referencing, if you've never looked into it or you don't quite fully agree, it can be like, it was mind blowing to me. The first like year I actually totaled up my like DFS volume when I was playing a lot. It's insane. Like it's the nature of the game. It compounds and like very quickly, if you're playing any sort of volume on a regular basis, your volume in play, your winnings, which isn't really net earnings, it can become a really big number.
Yeah, I mean, even just for me, right? So I give 2 quick examples. One is like I'm definitely not a professional, right? But like I started with a $10,000 bankroll, and which isn't like crazy. And obviously I'm attempting to make money, but in order to play the amount of volume to like really eke out a 5, 6, 7% edge for that to have meaningful dollars attached to it, you roll over your bankroll as many times as you can. And so with a $10,000 bankroll over the course of a month, I'd have put $600,000 in play. And it's not, I didn't deposit $600,000. I didn't withdraw $600,000. My bankroll over that time, if I'm lucky, grew to $13,000. But now I'm going to be taxed as if I won $600,000 worth of income. And like that just doesn't, the math doesn't math, right? Like it's so silly. And then, a Billy Betts example, I'm betting I started with $1,000 bankroll. So like, this is like how it could affect the very recreational person. Start with $1,000 bankroll and, you're betting 2% of your bankroll every time you put a play. That's $20. So like, there's probably tons of people that are like, yeah, $20 is casual gambling, right? Like I'm putting $20 here, $20 here. I have a budget of $1,000. I'm never going over it, etc. You roll over that over the course of a month, and you've now put $6,000 in play, and you're now being taxed as if you made $6,000, even if you did not, right? And so like that is the like impact of the recreational side. And I think to your point earlier, it's like it's just going to disincentivize. I think, unfortunately, the fact that like this is going to pass is like it tells me that the casinos and the sports books and the lobbies are actually kind of behind this for one reason or another, or at least
because none of them are saying anything about it. The only one I've seen be critical that's like a was it unabated? And they're in really a casino, but like none of them are coming out about it, right?
Oh, the unabated guys are up in arms. They're like Rufus and Captain Jack. They're like leading the charge on trying to fight it. But like,
if anyone's as passionate about it as Bunch and I, and you want to take some action, I'll pin the 3-step process to make some noise. Contact your representative.
Yeah, it's just, but it just kind of, it's a distance. It's, you know, it's very obviously like a sin tax, right? Like, and they're trying to disincentivize gambling. I think the most common people won't realize that this is even happening to them, and then they're going to get a tax bill that they didn't want, and all of that kind of stuff. So it's interesting. I think like New Jersey passed some other crazy laws this week that were, you know, I could see why these ones passed and why you'd be for this if you're a sports book or something. Like it was the like proxy betting laws and all of that kind of stuff. Zane in the chat says apparently SORAM's going to do an AMA on Spaces today. That is must.
What time? Do we have a link?
See. Yeah, 3 p.m. Eastern today. There's a link in the war room. You could probably grab and pin.
Amazing.
That's a must. I'm gonna 100% tune into that.
Incredible. Yeah, it's not only him; it's someone hired him, and they're going to be featuring him. So brilliant move. Like this is how you internet. Like it's
that
just
is
like
how you internet
101. Like you find someone who's talented. They've went viral. Not in the most like positive way. I don't know what nomadic AI is. That Andre, the person
you will today.
Like this is like the best, like whatever they're paying him, they'll get more marketing value out of their hire than whatever they're paying him this year. Unless they're paying him like Zuck is paying the OpenAI employees.
Yeah, speaking of OpenAI employees, did you see the other thing I thought was interesting and slightly the crossover was obviously we saw the big Robinhood announcement. And then did you see that they created OpenAI tokenized shares?
Mm-hmm.
And OpenAI was obviously, they came out and they were like, oh, this is unauthorized. We don't have a partnership with Robinhood. And, so correct me if I'm wrong. Does this mean that somebody would have had to actually have actual equity and tokenize that?
I believe so. Like that's my understanding.
It has to work like that, right? Because it's the only thing it could be pegged to that would make sense. So somebody with OpenAI equity decided they were going to tokenize it through Robinhood. Is that? It's kind of like fractionalized punks.
And OpenAI came out. I'm trying to find the post. Did they delete it or is it just way down their thread? Because I saw the same thing you're referencing.
It came from like their OpenAI news.
Oh, gotcha.
Handle or something like that, or their dev account or something.
OpenAI newsroom.
Yeah, that's where it came from.
It. Yeah. So they said this is the exact tweet. They said these OpenAI tokens are not OpenAI equity. We did not partner with Robinhood. We are not involved with this. We do not endorse this. Any transfer of OpenAI equity requires our approval. We did not approve any transfer. Please be careful. Elon replies, your equity is fake. I haven't seen the docs. Very normal for startups when they sell equity that you can't transfer your stake in the business without the said business or underlying entity approving that transfer. They're saying this is absolutely anyone they've sold equity to is bound by those terms. So it's gonna be interesting. It's interesting that Robinhood would make this part of the launch play, right? Like they could have done this
Totally.
with a company that they got their blessing. Like and since Elon is saying your equity is fake, I'm guessing same thing with SpaceX. Like they don't have the rights to transfer that equity either.
Super interesting though, right? Like it's, I don't know. What do you think about it? Like it's one thing obviously for like tokenized stocks, but something like this, how does it sit with you? I saw a very funny tweet though that was like, oh wait, let me get this straight. So the company who illegally scraped data from X, Y, and Z people are now complaining that somebody did something unauthorized with their company. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about private company much more so than stocks on chain. Like if this could be a thing, a little shocked they didn't do it right with the first one, right? Like, yes, OpenAI and SpaceX are probably, if not the top two privately held companies that a lot of people want exposure to. They're on they're on a short list, right? Like, the masses aren't going to invest or want exposure to Coffee with Captain LLC, right? It's just like they are two of the most notable unicorn privately held companies that could go public in at some point in the relatively near future.
So how does this change? Like, because I'm not sure I totally fully get it yet. So how would it change? Let's just the brand coin conversation of like REKT, right? Like, how would it change something like that into owning tokenized equity in REKT? Like, could they put out tokenized shares that represent actual equity in the company now?
I don't see why not. Like
But I do it with Billy, and theoretically,
why not? Right? Like so REKT, you not an attorney. My understanding is you just can't sell it as such. You have to gift it, right? To avoid being called a security. You can't say, hey, go buy Billy token because it's going to convert to equity. What REKT did, they gifted equity to their earliest supporters. Now, I think he said there was about 1,000 people that claimed their shares. I don't see why they couldn't tokenize that, put it on chain, and then the holders, if they want to sell,
right? So they can sell their
right. Like today, and I'm not. I think I've shared before. I have no expectations of a dividend. I don't expect to sell this thing at any point in the near future. It's just like, it's cool. It was a great gesture to bring us along, right? And if they do become the next Red Bull or Liquid Death, then, well, my stake probably does become worth some material amount of money. I'm not expecting that, but there's probably other holders that if it on the run up, like even now, it's undebatable. My share in REKT brands is worth more than what it was when they gifted it to me, because that was pre-REKT drinks. So it's like, if I wanted the liquidity event, there's just nothing I can do. I can't sell my stake. But if they authorize that, they put it on chain, I think there's going to be demand there. You can't tell me there's people that are holding REKT coin, that are brand ambassadors, that missed out on that equity distribution, that equity gift, that wouldn't want it, right? Like, I believe my shares of REKT brands I believe there's demand for it. I believe there's a market for it. I just can't do anything with it today. Now, do they have to put it on chain to be able to sell it? No. It's just, it really could almost eliminate, if not, it would greatly reduce, if not eliminate, the friction of, because that's like the downside in like getting in a seed round is you're there's not a liquidity event. Like, your liquidity event is when at the next round or they exit. It's like you're along for the ride, and often it's it's entirely at the whim of the founders of the board, right? Like, you want some liquidity halfway. You have a life event that happens. It's hard. Like, there's a lot of friction in trying to liquidate. You go through a divorce. Your you're ordered by a judge to liquidate your assets. It's difficult in some of these scenarios. If it's a tokenized asset on chain, it's click a button. So win Billy's stock.
Well, that's maybe a good segue into the announcements, but every holder of REKT
Really quick, Diego, not every holder of REKT NFT is a shareholder. What they did is, I don't know the exact time frame. I want to say it was 22. They took a snapshot of REKT NFT holders, and everyone who was holding when they took that snapshot, they later announced that you had the ability to claim shares in the company. You did have to KYC. You had to enter into a shareholder agreement or some, I don't know what they called it. It might not have been a shareholder agreement, but you had to KYC, enter into an agreement. I think they said there was about 3,000 holders at the time, and of those, about 1,000 went through the process and claimed it. So yeah, there's they may or may not still hold REKT guys, but there are about 1,000 people who at one point were a REKT NFT holder that now hold shares in REKT brands. Sorry, go ahead. Take us where you were going.
Oh no, I was just making a Billy joke. But yeah, I mean it's super fascinating on like the whole tokenized stock stuff. Are you bullish on this for like our existing ecosystem? Are you one of the folks that feels like this is gonna kind of drain the liquidity out of all the other stuff we do? What's your overall take?
I'm an optimist, but so I skew that way naturally, but I'm very bullish this. I think is it going to impact some? Will there be a flight to quality over some of these, bad example to use today, but some of these useless meme coins? Yes. I also think the pie just gets so much bigger. It gets so much bigger so fast, right? It's bringing liquidity. I think we won't be the only ones participating in this. I think more will enter it, and I think it's us maturing as an industry, and like this is one route to tokens becoming mainstream. And yeah, I think it's long term. I think it's a big win for crypto natives.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think any of this stuff that comes that brings more people to chains in general is going to be a good thing overall for us. But
I don't know if this is 100% accurate or not. Shovel, appreciate the info in the chat. Has a REKT guy NFT. Says if I'm assuming this is for if you held one REKT guy at point of claim, if REKT sells for 1 billion, so if let's say they become a unicorn and they sell, those shareholders that have one NFT would get about $115,000. Not bad.
Wait, say that again.
If REKT sells for 1 billion, which is a big number, then the shares that you got for holding a single REKT guy would be worth $115,000.
Hell yeah, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like this is the way to do stuff with. This is why I love crypto, because you can create and share value out of that, or you could share value that you create out of thin air with the community. And like this is the coolest thing about the space, and it gives people access that you normally wouldn't have had either, which I love. And I think like for us with Billy and like the reward stuff that we just announced yesterday, like that's what we are trying to do. Like the sports book incentive mechanisms are so misaligned, and I think we have this really cool opportunity to share the value that we're creating with not only our early adopters, but over the course of the life of our business, which I think is really a fun opportunity for us.
I agree. It gets me really excited as a participant. It gets me really excited as a builder. Like this is what we're seeing, like this concept we're seeing actually come to reality or fruition now. It's like, it's a lot of what got me excited about building on chain, building in crypto, this idea of building in public, bringing your community along. It's just like, we were like in the Stone Ages, and now it's like, oh, we just found the wheel, man. Like we're off to the races. Like this thing is moving in the right direction. And it's like, it's slow and monotonous and takes time until it's not. And I think this could be one of these things like we look back, it's like, oh my gosh, like this is all these companies are now tokenized on chain. There's it's funny, like the it's not lost on me how we are. Today's conversation has been, we're all screwed that are gamblers. We're going to have to move out of the country to, the world is finally supporting us. It's like, it's really
it's that thin of a line.
It really is.
It's kind of crazy.
It's nuts. It's really nuts to think about it. Like,
to quote a wise man, I just want to do hood rat shit with my friends. Like that's literally it. Just like, let me do what I want to do. I'm not hurting anybody. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. I think like goes to the rewards conversation earlier, right? Like I mean, look, when we did Starbucks, I thought that the best way to structure these rewards programs was around a business entity that creates value and revenue and find unique ways to share that with consumers. And that's what we're trying to do with Odyssey. And we used NFTs as that mechanism. And I think that's what we're trying to do now here with Billy. And what we like, the rewards program that we announced yesterday is largely like Hyperliquid inspired in terms of, we are a revenue generating company, both from, the wagers people make through the platform to some B2B type enterprise deals that we have, et cetera. And as we generate that revenue, we want all of that revenue to go to buying back our token and increasing that value for our early believers and allow them a way to earn more of our token by participating and helping and grow the platform. And I think we have this really interesting flywheel that we can create here, because at the heart of what we're doing is good information, alpha, circulating good information that people could use really easily, and then giving them a place to use that information right on our platform and be rewarded for doing so, right? And so our main goal, and we are super aligned with like, hey, if we're not giving good data, then none of this works, right? So it keeps us focused on the main thing, which is sourcing usable and winning alpha, and then rewarding those people that come and help us grow the platform through using it, creating volume, generating revenue, referring friends. And then our commitment back is using that revenue to accrue value back to the token for those same people. And so the TLDR on what we announced for football season is we're going to kick off like a season of points. And so starting with football season, you're going to be able to come use Billy, and we're going to be giving away we're going to be allocating 1 million points a week throughout from mid-August through the Super Bowl. And those points will equate to a certain number of Billy that you'll be airdropped on a weekly basis. We'll have a bunch of staking and rewards multipliers, all kinds of stuff, referrals where you're going to earn on your friends volume from day one, $1 as well. And, it's designed so that the earliest adopters, the earliest believers in what we're doing are going to earn the most tokens, because that weekly points allocation is static. So if there's 100 users in week 1, 100 users will have a split of 1 million points. If there's 10,000 users by Super Bowl, 10,000 users will have a share of 1 million points, right? So it kind of scales proportionally, because I think the one of the other really great values of crypto is if you're early and if you believe and if you have conviction in stuff, you should be rewarded heaviest, right? And I think that's what we're trying to do here. We also announced yesterday that we are moving back to base, so that's going to be kind of cool. So we're going to have a whole process there around how to move your tokens back from Sol to base. We're doing this very simply to be back part of the Virtuals ecosystem. They were initially planning on all of this Solana, ecosystem stuff that just did not end up playing out. So we want to be back.
Why didn't that play out? Do you have any takes on what went wrong when Virtual was trying to move to Solana?
Well, I think first is timing. The timing of this all happened with like we launched. We were the first ones to launch on Virtuals with like on Solana. We were the very first ones. And that was a week before Libra, right? So that was a week before the Argentina stuff. So it like basically crushed the entire ecosystem over there. And I think, you know, also the atmosphere is much more Memecoin degen rather than ecosystem, right? So I think all of those things combined, and then the Genesis stuff popped off on base, and that's kind of where it's all, you know, so that's why I think it really didn't work out. But yeah, I mean, so we're going to go back there, be part of the base ecosystem. And so lots of cool things coming from us in the next couple months.
Very cool. I did pin the thread up top for anyone that wants more details. And you also had a space yesterday if anyone wants to get into the deeper dive. But I guess I should probably stop sharing that one. Expand on, like, I believe I know, but expand on like points versus just straight token as reward.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think doing that allows us to scale with the market cap of the token better as well. And it also allows us to, you know, I also think this kind of coincides with doing seasons rather than like just a straight time period reward thing, where we can kind of assess the actions that are being taken and what we want to actually incentivize and things like that. You know, initially I drew it up as like, oh, this is a Billy reward. Like everything is a single Billy, right? But that doesn't necessarily work as well with, you know, supply changing and things like that. So in terms of how to scale it over time, I think points allow, I mean, quite honestly, also points allows for some speculation, I think, too, which is kind of the name of the game also. So I think that's why we're going with points. I think there's a lot of reasons why points are better than just the straight token drip. Because we can scale that, right? Like we could also scale it with users and decide how many Billy is worth a point, right? And so what we have committed to instead is the amount of Billy total for the program, which is going to be 10% of the entire token supply. So 10% of the entire token supply is going to go back towards rewards, and that is going to be kind of divvied up in these different points mechanisms.
It just gives you a lot more flexibility, and like when you're building this thing out to make changes, like if you can't after you it's much easier to change your points than it is to create more tokens after you've done it, right? Like it's creates. I just noticed Billy on quite a heater here recently. I should have I loaded up my betting account. I should have just shoved it all in Billy last week.
Yeah, so far the response to the announcements have been very positive, which is great. I was hoping that was the case, but you never know when you make changes like this for, you know, migration and all of that kind of stuff. But it was super positive. So I think we were at like 2 million off the lows. So now we're at like 3.6.
And you said over the next 60 days, what is the timeline as far as like for those of us that are holding Billy on Solana? What is like what we will need to take action, right? It's not just going to automatically happen. You'll need to do something to do a claim or a transit. Like, what does that timeline look like? Are we talking weeks, months? What is
So in a couple weeks, what basically how it'll work is if you're holding Billy now, we are going to take a snapshot in the next couple weeks. We'll announce when that is. Once we take the snapshot, we will open the migration page. All you'll have to do is actually connect your Sol wallet that holds Billy to our platform, so that we can make a connection between the Sol wallet that you have and the wallet that we give you on the platform. So the wallet that we give you on the platform is an EVM wallet. So all you'll have to do is connect your wallet, your Sol wallet to the platform, confirm the address of your EVM wallet that's on our platform. You'll hit a button that will send your Billy to either the burn address or the safe, whichever we decide to do. And then we will actually airdrop you. We'll airdrop everybody all at once before the new market goes live to directly to that EVM wallet that's on your dashboard. And then you own that wallet, you own the keys, all of that stuff. So if you wanted to move it to a MetaMask or wherever after that, you can just export those keys and take it anywhere.
Nice. Exciting stuff, man. I'm pumped. I'm pumped for, I mean, as a Billy supporter, pumped as a holder, a participant, and beyond just my excitement for Billy, I do truly believe that this is, you're all building playbooks, right? Like what REKT is doing with their brand coin and how they're building REKT, what you're building with Billy, with the token, how you're building that, pulling the, I know we said we talk Hyperliquid in the market update. I flew past it, but it's back above 40 again for all the Hyperliquid fans out there. And like, that works, right? Like how the mechanics, the tokenomics, the buybacks, like it's working and to bring that into this model. Like it's just, does everyone have to do it the exact same? No, but I do believe this incorporating tokens into real business where you have real product market fit, it's more than just speculation. It's, I said back when I was on the big AI agents are to 2025 when NFTs are to 2021, it was largely like this. Like I saw what you all are doing now coming to fruition, and I think this is, it's going to change how business is done. Got to change how, maybe not your large entrenched multi-billion-dollar corporations, but for the startup, for someone that's looking to compete, it really is an incredible flywheel, right? We've seen it, Hyperliquid come in a very competitive industry and just dominate in terms of market share in the DEX landscape. We're seeing REKT Drinks do it in CPG goods and in the beverage business. We're seeing Billy do it in the sports betting business. It's like all three of those maybe they could. I don't see a path for them doing what they're doing, where they're at today and where they're heading without the token, right? And I'd said that, like,
yeah, well, I think it's like, I mean, they could, right? Like we could do this without a token, or we could make revenue as a company and use that revenue to fund operations or, just keep it for the ink. But I think like the real, and again, it's just like the same thing we talk about all the time here. Like this whole space is about incentives and how you align incentives. And that's not just between like token and user or like user and user, whatever. Like it's not just how to get people to use your app. It's about how you run your business, right? And like, I think if you are trying to create a business that generates revenue and you're not tying that back to the token you also have attached to this business, you're doing it wrong, right? Like your incentives are misaligned. You are now in two separate silos. You're in the, company revenue silo versus token business silo. And like, if they're not all working together to create this epic flywheel, like that's the power you have by doing something like this in this space that you can't do anywhere else. DraftKings can't do this. Like you can't do it anywhere else. And it's only here that you can align that flywheel so tightly that you can hopefully create exit velocity when, I don't know who said it before, Von Frontin, like you have to have a product that people want to use. Yeah. And that's our job to do. But if we do that right, and we tie these things together correctly, how they should be, that benefits the user using your app, then that's the magic, right? It's like revenue generating businesses using that revenue to accrue value back to the token community. That is the flywheel that works. And that's why Hyperliquid's so powerful. And hopefully we can do the same. And I think that, for us too, there's like an additional, which is like Billy betting his own wallet, right? Like that too, that's a revenue stream. If Billy does well betting his own bankroll, we could scale that up. all of that goes back to buybacks, right? And that was the initial kind of thesis of why is it cool for an agent to potentially have a token. So obviously this thing has evolved since we first started, but I think like these are the core things that we've always believed around why Web3, what these shared incentives can do, that are just different from other businesses. Like we could have run the same business with no token and still generated revenue with a Web3 customer and just never had a token.
You could. I would push back.
It doesn't work as well.
It doesn't. Like you just don't get the same buy-in. You don't get the same flywheel effect.
Correct.
What you get is like, why would I do this versus what I use already today? Right.
Correct.
My crowns at DraftKings are worth more than doing something without any incentives. So it's like the product is important. You have to like REKT drinks. People drink the drink. Hyperliquid, people use the DEX. Billy, people use the protocol. Like you got to have a good product. The token and proper utilization of said token and incorporation of said token, it's a competitive advantage. It makes your product better than the one without it, right? It's like you still got to have a good product. This is just a way to compete. It's a way to build a better product, better aligned incentives from the user all the way to the corporation.
And then wait till we vampire attack the DraftKings and FanDuel's user, right? Where like, hey, come connect your wallet, come connect your sportsbook accounts. Let us check out and do some analysis for you through Billy. And oh, by the way, I see you've done $100,000 in volume in the past year. For that, you can earn X amount of Billy. All you got to do to unlock it is X, Y, and Z, right? And now you've changed that casual DraftKings bettor into somebody with an aligned incentive to use your platform. And like, I think that's super cool.
I'm pumped for the. I mean, I can't. I'm sure maybe there's been other ones. I can't think of any off the top of my head. Would it go too far to say that would be the first Web3 vampire attack of Web2 companies?
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I don't really know, but I think it's got potential to actually bring over a lot of customers, because the thing that we are going to be able to offer as a platform is like, still a place to make your bets. Not only a place to make your bets, but a place to get better pricing than you were on DraftKings anyway. And then thirdly, like text to bet, auto bet, all of those things that just make the experience better and different. And so I think we have a potential to really earn those customers as well. And then you show the rewards program to them as like, oh, well, now I, talk about cashback rebate. It's essentially something similar to that. And it's now save big money at Menards,
I love it. Did not see us having Menards on the bingo card today, but here we are. Steve would be proud. I do. I've got. Well, go ahead. I was gonna go ahead and front run our Caps Clutch Market Parlay of the day, but I'll let you finish any thoughts there, and then I'll pull it up because we got some afternoon games today. And, Billy likes them, so we're gonna. Have you
been dabbling in any of the early morning Wimbledon?
I've not. I should. I should, so I can be before the U.S. government makes it takes my fun betting away from me by unfair tax laws. I should.
By the way, we didn't touch on this. However, it doesn't help you as the fantasy. It doesn't help you as the fantasy player. However, I think from a sports betting perspective, this is like a boon for prediction markets, right? Like they are the ones that are going to benefit the most from these new laws. And the reason being is that like a Cal sheet, for example, right? That is the CFTC regulated events contract, and CFTC contracts are treated as capital gains, so they're treated totally differently from a tax perspective. So you're going to see people go to events contracts and prediction markets. So very bullish for the prediction market stuff.
Explain that again. I didn't register. Like,
so you're taxed differently, right? So like if you see CFTC regulated equities or contracts or whatever, you are taxed as capital gains, not just regular income. So you're not subject to this same 90% write-off law. You can do your taxes as you would your normal equities trading.
So
Which means your losses can be offset by your wins 100%. Now, if you take a loss on the year, it's capped at $3,000 or $3,000 or whatever that number is, same as the crypto tax stuff. Also, by the way, this bill feels a lot like getting taxed on airdrops that you didn't have anything to do with.
So now, like, my conspiracy brain says, "Oh, so you're telling me Polymarket is behind the lobbying of getting?"
Dude, it might be Kalshi. The Kalshis are in. I mean, aren't the Trumps on the board of Kalshi?
Dude, you just figured it out. That's it. It's the prediction.
Eric Trump
is a lobby to get this gambling thing hidden in this omnibus bill. Like that's I'm almost. You just convinced me. That's what's exactly what happened. The Trumps are on the Kalshi board. The biggest.
They are correct. I'm almost certain of it.
Maybe not the board. There's definitely a relation.
They're on something.
I think they walked it back, or they like kind of halfway denied it or something. But yeah, there's absolutely a Trump involvement with Kalshi. That's the Polymarket or Kalshi are the two biggest prediction markets. Kalshi, I think, is actually valued at a higher valuation based on the.
Yeah, I was surprised at that too. Were you surprised at that?
I just assumed it was due to the parties involved and.
Yeah, maybe. I'm doing a quick search on the Trumps with Kalshi, so don't take it as gospel yet until we get the official word for it. But I'm fairly certain they are somewhat involved as either investors or on the board or something like that. And again, like this, they're CFTC regulated contracts, so they can be taxed as you would like your equities or for capital long-term and short-term capital gains rather than just like normal regular income, if that makes sense.
It does. It's kind of crazy. I can't believe I hadn't thought about it till just now, but like I've been wondering where the hell are the big books? Where, like, is this maybe a paradigm? Like, is this like way too out there that actually the big sports books are going to they're shifting their business models into prediction markets, and this is just the foreshadowing of that. Is that crazy?
I don't know if they want to. I think some of these laws are really good for them, but I don't think they really get the impact it's going to have on them in terms of just the volume. One, it's going to scare the normal person off if they. Like the normal responsible person who's just doing this as a hobby, it disincentivizes the hobby. Two, it definitely moves more volume than they realize off of their platforms because there's a lot of pro bettors that are behind some of these non-pro looking accounts, if you know what I mean, in terms of like giving information out with a share of, returns, all of that kind of stuff. So I don't even know. Like, I really don't know. However, here's the answer to our question. The connection runs straight through Donald Trump Jr. and by extension through the incoming Trump world reshuffle at the CFTC Treasury. So Donald Trump Jr. took an equity stake and accepted a strategic advisor role in January 2025. He's now the most visible public champion of the exchange. And then here you go. Brian Quintez, ex-CFTC commissioner and is a board member nominated by President-elect Trump to chair the CFTC. So, yeah, there's some ties there.
Wild. It just makes the whole thing feel even dirtier now.
Well, prediction markets are going to be the thing. It's going to suck that like fantasy is going to be dragged into it because it's kind of a totally different product. But bullish for prediction markets, poly markets, Myriad, all of these on-chain prediction markets are going to get a boon from this. All the offshore crypto books are going to get a boon from this. And that's kind of just how it's going to be.
I didn't like, so I guess I think it's like it's a horrible, part of this bill. I'm not even as angry now because I guess
Yeah, but that doesn't help you for DFS, you know, like it doesn't help you for fantasy. It helps it potentially fine for a sports bettor but like most sports bettors though are not finding their edge on these main market stuff, right? It's all the inefficient pricing on a third level alt line, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. So, you know, there's still an edge being lost here for sure for those folks, but it's good for
Speaking
Billy.
of prediction markets, my favorite parlay prediction market is there's the parlay of the day. We're going Marlins Rockies today. Yep. It's
Marlins quietly the hottest team in baseball. So, and the Twins did not win 10 games in all of the month of June. So that one I would feel pretty good about. Rockies get a Rockies. We'll see what happens.
Get your if you're playing Battle Royale and Underdog today, stack the home team in Colorado. Kyle Freeland is going to throw a gem on the mound for the Rockies. So
let's do it. Hell yeah.
That's what Billy thinks anyway. So we trust our quant Billy bets.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me.
We got a new leader in the YouTube chats. Von Frontin missed a day. He's been dethroned. I didn't see who the new leader is. Maybe Payne will drop that, or I can. I'm afraid to head over to the YouTube streets because it'll be like the third video stream on my computer here, and I'll probably get a little choppy. But Jeremy Simpson, the new king of YouTube. Sorry for the echo there. I'm sure that came through, but congrats, Jeremy, for taking Von Frontin's throne. And I did pin up top. You got to kind of scroll, like middle of the pin post up top, but it says it starts with 8 new YouTube subs yesterday. Can we get to 10 today? That'll be my ask as we start to wind down. If you're not yet given our YouTube a subscription, we greatly appreciate it. Our guy Payne works relentlessly behind the scenes to get all of our distribution live, and we'd appreciate the love over there. So yeah, if you haven't, head over as we wind things down, head over to YouTube and give us that sub. And you've got at least there's a 2-person competition heating up for the king of the YouTube chat. They should do that everywhere. Every chat should have a king of the chat, king or queen of the chat.
I love that.
Some feedback for Fan and Abstract. Who's our number one fan in the Abstract chat? I got some guesses. It's a short list, but I don't know who is number one. Tio, I see. Bunch, I don't know if you've got time to get out here. I don't know if you've got time for a quick question. I saw Tio jumped up on stage. Tio, GM, you got a question for Bunch or what? Right?
Yeah, well, y'all were talking about so many good topics. I wanted to give y'all some insight on the investment and giving back, right? So, you know, X Inc., we're building a clothing company that's a real world company, not a Web3, but we're using the Web3 to build the ecosystem. But we're like, how can we include them to be actual investors in the company? So my boy Eric went back to his lawyer and said, hey, how can we reward them quarterly and also allow them to be part of our company? And he said, well, you have to include them in the company, I guess, manifesto, whatever the LLC, whatever you build out. So what he did is we gave them 13% all the way up to 30% over time of the company. And we did it with digital collectibles, right? The NFT, non-fungible token contract. So if you own one of those, you own a piece of the company, right? And the deal was what that did with the way the rules are set up and everything, that allows us to airdrop you something, right? And then we go and buy it back and give you the amount of whatever that quarterly revenue was, share of yours. And it fits in all the United States, Canada, because that was the biggest thing was the United States. And you're able to earn money that way and be an investor in our company by holding one of the digital assets. So I just wanted to share that with you guys and stuff. You just have to sit down with the lawyer and really iron out what you're trying to do, right? And what like Memecoin, it's a little bit different because they're doing a token. Also, there's 420 trillion tokens. I don't know why that's so big, but you know that obviously changes the way it works. But it's a lot more easier with the digital collectible to do that, to reward your people back. And Billy, I'm really excited about hearing all this stuff and everything. I just signed up and made an account, so I can't wait to go back and listen and get more into your system. But I just wanted to share that, Cap. A lot of great information in this space. Really good job of sharing it and talking about it and talking about y'all's experiences and what y'all have heard and deals. So I know y'all made me smarter this morning, so I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate the
Hell
kind
yeah.
What up?
Reach out with any questions on Billy if you have any.
Will do, bro. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thanks again. Bunch, I said I'm good for one zinger a month. I might have hit 2 today on the same topic. You're the jokester. You gotta let me know how I did here. Jobs are in. Added nearly 150,000 jobs in June. Beat expectations. Is my joke funny?
Dude, yes. I was just gonna say, as soon as you said jobs, I was like, oh, this is gonna go back to the Siam joke. Yes, this is good.
Half of those 150,000 were Soham and a few of his friends, but
I dig it. Good one.
Only people listening in will see that today because it'll get nerfed. But good chat today. Enjoyed all things, and actually, like I came into it a true story. I came into it pretty frustrated, upset, disappointed with our regulators here in the States. And while I still am, I think it's BS them trying to push something like this. Like, if you want to have this, if you want to fix gambling and you want to protect the degens who are not financially responsible and they're gambling away their mortgage, like, I'm okay with that. Like, there should be better protections for those people who need it, more so than just, hey, if you're an addict, call 1-800-GAMBLER. I don't think, like, I'm not the wrongdoer because someone else can't manage their finances and they bet money they shouldn't be gambling with. Like, penalize, like, help those people, or don't penalize people like me who I'm not doing anything wrong. I
did totally underestimate the I kind of keep forgetting how many people just really are against gambling period, the end. Like, it's such a common thing that we talk about all the time in this space, and I just totally did not. I like way underestimated that cohort that's out there as I'm like reading, different tweet threads and everything like that and responses to them. I forget how much that is frowned upon in society as a whole, I guess.
I just feel think it's destroying the fabric of society. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, maybe it's not doing as much damage as processed food is. Look, like, it's just like we have a health crisis in this country. Like, real, legit. Like, that's destroying people's lives, and they're like taking years off their life. I mean, maybe all my sweats is also taking years off my life, but I enjoy it at least. It's entertainment. It's not. I digress. It's just I actually do leave in a different head state than I started the morning, and I've been in for, just because realizing I wasn't understanding that prediction markets are treated differently. And
yeah, I mean, at least Kalshi is. So at least Kalshi is CFTC certified exchange, and those are like events contracts that are treated from a tax perspective like equities.
I mean, kind of gets me excited because of.
I mean, bullish for Billy, man.
As a clutch market, like a lot of my favorite brands here are building in the prediction market space, and awesome. Let's go. Let's turn this lemon into lemonade. And I still think it's BS. I think it's a dumb way to try to get regulation approved or unfair taxes. But the silver lining is it's not all, and actually could be a massive boom to protocols like Billy and clutch market. And so, yeah, I'll focus on that, focus on the positive. I enjoy that more anyways. Like, how do I win? And it's just like I've shared before, like when people start freaking out about macroeconomics conditions and we're in a recession, like that's usually the most opportunistic time for entrepreneurs who can find solutions when everyone else is freaking out. So yeah.
One more fun thing to share, because somebody just won it in our someone just won it in our Discord. If you're not a sports bettor, not a gambler, but you think what we're doing at Billy is interesting, every week we do Cap, if you want to share the screen real quick. Every week we do Billy Bingo, And so somebody just won it in our Discord. You come in, you get a bingo card. It's got a bunch of the MLB teams on it. When Billy bets on a game and wins it, you can mark off your card. And if you make bingo, you win some Billy. Somebody just hit it. I was very close. This was my card. I needed the Diamondbacks or the Cardinals, but somebody just won it. So if you think what we're doing is interesting, but you don't want to actually gamble per se, you can always come and follow what Billy's betting on. Try to win some bingo.
You know what else? Like, this is like, I'm not just saying this because you're a friend. I'm not just saying this because I'm a Billy supporter. You can have fun.
Yes.
Gambling on sports without risking serious capital.
That's kind of the best part of Billy. Like, you could literally just follow what he's doing and hang out, like not even bet on it. Just follow what he's got and hang out in our Discord and have a good time. Like,
I believe
you don't even risk anything.
Most people, not the pros, not the syndicates, not the sharp, most people that gamble on sports do so for entertainment value. This is not a hyperbole. Billy Bets is probably the lowest risk, safest way to do that without putting, I mean, you truly can do it with no capital, but you can, if you want a little extra sweat, you can. It's just like, it's,
or buy
entertainment value, not for the, I'm going to go turn my $5 bet into 100,000. Like, is the allure of hitting like 11 game parlay, like, sure, maybe it adds a fun sweat that levels up your entertainment, but that's not what, deep down, that I don't believe the purely financial return is the main driver of why people bet on sports.
Totally. And that's what I mean. Like, you could, you could spend no money on your own bets. You can watch what Billy's putting in play and hang out in the Discord with everybody who's rooting for the same thing. Like, that's really fun. You could buy a tiny bit of token, and that is your sweat in the game, because everything that we do goes back to, accruing value of that token. Billy's going to buy. He had a profitable month of June and bought back 1 million tokens the other day, which is cool. So like, that's the sweat you can have as well. So there's just a ton of ways to get involved that do not require you to actually make a bet on sports, which is fun. And because like, that's kind of what we're doing here. It's like this mix of entertainment and social and all of this stuff. And it's really fun.
Agreed. Well, appreciate what you're doing. Thanks for saving my my sports betting future with the prediction market. And in all seriousness, I truly am excited. Love what you're building. I get geeked out about this stuff. Like, I mean what I say. I think we are seeing the early playbooks for new business models being built before our eyes. I can't believe I haven't thought about this mail-in rebate analogy before this morning, but it's not going to be the last time I talk about it. Like, that's what REKT Drinks is doing. It's their tactics aren't new. It's things that have worked for decades. They're just enhancing it, making it better by bringing it on chain. That's the sort of stuff that really excites me here, is they're actually using blockchain tech to improve upon existing things in the world today. They're all going to look really different, but this is how we move forward. This is how we bring people on chain, is when it's just better product, whether it's a toy in Walmart, whether it's a sparkling beverage in 7-Eleven, whether it's a prediction market compared to a traditional sports book. Like, I say that generously, you all founders in this space, the builders in this space, are making better products by bringing them on chain. And this is just like, it doesn't stop with just drinks and sports betting. It's like, in my head, this applies to everything. Like this, what you're doing, you could take it across any industry, any product, any service. It's new. We don't know the exact, and there may never be a one perfect model. I think there's a lot of different iterations, but we don't get there if not for teams and leaders like yourself taking some shots, trying some new shit, and seeing what works. So yeah, salute for pushing it forward, taking some plays out of Hyperliquid and REKT playbook to incorporate into your own business and then build upon it. It's just, I love playing a very, 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 very small role. It's excited to be part of it. Like it's like they said, like this has got me so excited about this space in the beginning, is I can, support these brands that get me excited. And I can do so in a much more active way than buying Tesla stock, right? Like, I think Tesla's changing how our world, travels in it's changing society. I thought that was cool. I invested in Tesla early. That was a good financial move, but I'm not really vested. Like I invested if number goes up, but that's it. That's the extent of it. This really it is in these cases, these examples we choose, it's taking fandom to another level.
Totally. Love it. Thank you for having me. As
Thanks
always.
for joining us. Sorry we ran long. Appreciate your time as always. Chat, you're awesome. If you haven't yet, go hit that YouTube.
Oh, that's
sub.
okay. I'm excited about it. Maybe next. Sorry, you cut out. You'd cut out, so I kept talking. My bad.
No, I hit some lag somewhere along the way.
All good. Thanks again.
Fiber hardwired yet. But no, really, truly appreciate your time today. Chat, you all are awesome. All of them were firing off today. Before you sign off, go hit the YouTube sub if you've not yet done that. And we'll see if we have a new king or queen come Friday morning. We'll be back tomorrow, wrap up the week with another banger. The carousel is up top all the way to the right. Go hit that reminder if you've not yet done so, and join us over on YouTube. And we'll be back tomorrow to wind down the week or wind up the weekend, whichever way you're looking at it. Stay safe out there for anyone getting into early 4th of July festivities. I don't want to see any pictures of missing fingers tomorrow. Please don't drink and drive. Use an Uber. I've offered this before around holidays. I truly mean it. If anyone find yourself out and you don't have the 10, 20, $50 to get home safely, I'm probably sleeping by the time you need it. But if I'm awake and ever see someone in need, I would gladly buy your Uber versus you making a very poor decision and putting not only your own life, but other lives at jeopardy as well. I won't rant on drunk driving that often, but just don't be dumb. If you can afford to go out, you can afford an Uber. Please don't make poor decisions inebriated. On that note, have a wonderful day, everyone. We will see you tomorrow. Hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thanks for tuning into Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin. We hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, nothing we discussed today is financial advice. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to the future.